My name is Rhapsody. Welcome back to Slay the Spire. We're going to do the 5 Ascension here on the Silent, or rather the 5th Ascension level here on the Silent, against the Corrupt Heart, having not succeeded last time. Remove 2 cards from the deck. I mean, you know I want to, but can I? Okay. I'll do it. Upgrade a card was the second most likely there, and it would have been an immediate upgrade on Neutralize. Okay, so what do I want early on here? Well, Predator or Dash, so that I can start taking on Elites. I would also accept Skewer, or in a pinch, I guess I could roll with something like the Riddle with Holes. Predator. I can't take Curse of Doubt, especially if I'm going to be drawing extra cards. Which I will from Predator. Crippling Cloud versus Prepared. Ooh, do I take Crippling Cloud? 4 poison and 2 weak to all enemies. Well, providing 2 weak to all enemies is quite good. AoE only gets better as the further we go on. As long as we're in the fight for 4 turns, then 4 poison is, what, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1's 10. So... but it's not front-loaded damage, which makes it significantly worse. So 10 damage and 2 weak to all enemies. Is that good? Maybe. I'm going to take it. Madness. Don't want that. Don't want Shame, obviously. If I can get a second copy of Neutralized. Yeah, I don't want Prepared. I would have taken 1,000 Cuts, though. All right. Get all of my defense in the first hand, none of it on the second hand. Yeah, no, I see how it goes. It's fine. I'm not mad about it, except for the fact that I definitely am. Second Predator or my first Caltrops. Caltrops does a ridiculous amount of damage over the course of a single combat, but yeah, with that boss, we definitely want Caltrops. Do I want to go for the powered up elite this floor or next floor? I think I need to power myself up before I go for the elite. I don't really want a potion either. So now I have a couple decisions actually to make here. Neutralize, Predator, Crippling Cloud, or Caltrops. What gets upgraded? Well, the least useful against Lagavulin is Caltrops. The least useful against the Sentinels is Crippling Cloud. Predator is never the least useful card in an elite combat for us here. So I can remove all of their artifact as well as apply some poison. Some weak, sorry. And I think I ought to do that. It will give me the ability... I mean, number one, it'll decrease the amount of damage I take next turn by 6. But it will also give me the ability to start neutralizing these targets. I really want to play the Caltrops here, but I also want to neutralize Predator Survivor. Yeah, I don't really have a choice. I need to protect myself. I plan to hunt more elites. The regen potion is going to be particularly handy for that, but, you know, I can't entirely rely on it. Well, if I can only take that one out. Let's see if the attack potion gives us anything that gives us instantaneous... no, that's not going to do it. Okay, so the smallest amount of damage that I can deal to an enemy is 17 here with a backstab and then a strike. So I'll do that and then try and follow up. So what's that? 27 on that target? Predator plus neutralize plus... yeah, we haven't got lethal. I wanted to see a fashion by which that could be attained, but I don't think it is used. It's too late in the fight. We're not going to benefit that much from Caltrops anymore. I'm looking for neutralize in the next hand, hopefully. Oh well. Neutralize, defend, defend. Defend, defend, strike, does it? Because then I've got Predator in the next turns. Well, it's just a bunch of damage. Just a strike. Just a single, solitary, lonely strike. Doll. For each curse in your deck, start each combat with 1 strength. This was skill. I don't think I take skill. Not with the Crippling Cloud and Predator in the deck. I've got a very high cost deck currently. I really need some low cost cards and especially some defense. And it doesn't provide any of those things. This one's pretty easy. Hell yeah. Thank you, Laos. All right. Dodge and roll, Sucker Punch, Bane. Is it too early to pick up Dodge and roll? I don't think it is. Frozen Egg or Sapphire Key? I mean, we're playing the Silent, so powers are pretty ridiculous. Look at Noxious Fumes instantaneously turning up. Hell yes. So for that reason, we'll go with it. We'll take Noxious Fumes here. It's going to be particularly good in long-term boss fights. And I think we could take a second dodge and roll without being too sad. That frontliner is going to be a problem. Especially if it gets defended. So I accept 3 damage this turn, but I make it all but guaranteed that I'm capable of taking out the Gremlin Wizard before it does its giant nuke, which it's attempting to currently do. Right. And we're covered. Ultimately a pretty good fight there. Okay. Don't want any of those. I'm looking for footworks in particular. Gaining some block next turn is pretty good. But this will deal 3 damage every single turn. 3 damage every single turn. How many turns are they going to be on the field? I think Caltrops' damage is going to be relevant. Okay. Ow. Thank you for doing a little bit more lenient of an attack this turn, but it wasn't even necessary there. Question card or future card reward screens, you have 1 additional card from which to choose. I could probably take that dash. Yeah. Just as a defensive option. As much as I desperately want to upgrade the Caltrops here, I think I need to rest. Crippling Cloud is almost certainly not getting played in this battle anymore. It had to be played on turn 1 if I was going to get it out at all. Thank you, Dash, for providing a pretty wildly powerful turn there. Never mind, looks like Crippling Cloud does get played after all, just because of necessity. As much as I want to play Predator this turn, I recognize that the amount of defense that I can gain this and next turn is worth. We're going to try and single target until one of them is down. Awesome. we should basically be covered now, frankly. We're a couple of footworks from this deck being ridiculous. Juzu Bracelet. Normal enemy encounters are no longer encountered in question mark rooms. Now, that's going to be really important because next floor, there's an event in particular that I would very much like to get. That event being the Cursed Tome, so that I can get the Necronomicon. The Necronomicon would give me a double play the first time I play an attack that costs 2 or more each turn, which would include both Predator and Dash. Not only is it Malaise, I believe I in fact need to upgrade Malaise. I was intending to rest here, but with the Malaise, if I can get an upgraded Malaise with 3 energy off on a Guardian, I'm off to the races in terms of our success chances. Nine? So 615. We are exactly 1 damage short of being able to put the enemy on the ground here. Yikes. It's frankly a little mortifying. Well, at least I got a giant Malaise off. Okay. That'll have to do. I do need the deck to start tending more defensive when available, but until such a time, grumble, grumble, grumble. You can see, hopefully, at this point, that the Noxious Fumes is ridiculous. And it's going to be really, really good for prolonged combats like this. It gives us some scaling affair. It's going to make life a lot easier for us. Goodbye, enemy. 1000 Cuts in Venom, Glass Knife, Nightmare. It's worth noting that both in Venom and 1000 Cuts come with a pre-upgrade, which makes them so much more powerful. 1000 Cuts is a lot of damage over the course of battle in AoE. It would stack on top of the Noxious Fumes affair. It would assist with the fact that I want to include some zero-cost cards in this deck to balance out the expected energy expenditure of a standard turn, because we've got a 2-cost, 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 and an X-cost, and another 2-cost in the 1000 Cuts. Nightmare gives me the ability to adapt to my run on the run, so if I want to get more Caltrops in the deck, I can suddenly do that. If I want to get more Noxious Fumes in the deck, I can suddenly do that. Same with Malaise. But the problem is the setup and execution of that is so slow. Fundamentally, I don't see how Envenom currently works with this deck, and I don't see how I can pivot this deck to make Envenom work, so that's the only non-consideration here. Glass Knife is actually also a consideration for taking down a singular target as quickly as possible. I am going to take 1000 Cuts, because it's another fashion by which I can make a defensive deck that will then kind of go off, so to speak. Funnily enough, Strength doesn't do anything for our deck right now, so to take the Calling Bell and get 3 Curses and 3 Relics, sure, it gives me 3 Strength, but how many of my cards really capitalize on Strength? Like, 3 more damage on a Predator isn't huge. 3 more damage on a Neutralize, because it costs 0, is pretty big, because you can play a lot of small attacks. If I had Shivs in this deck, then I would consider it, but we don't. Coffee Dripper is really dangerous, is the problem. Not being able to rest at rest sites, especially when the second floor is really potent, and we still have ahead of us an elite that is going to be more powerful, courtesy of the Emerald Key, I believe. So for those reasons, I'm going to be taking Cursed Key. in the future, I can still decide if I want to... Well, I'm going to still have to open a chest regardless because I have to get the sapphire key from one. So I'm going to have a curse regardless. Yeah, I was actively pretty worried about this as an opening turn. Getting absolutely nothing really done there. I'm copying 3 damage this turn so that I can play the Caltrops because I know that the next turn has a ridiculous amount of damage in it. Okay, it's Dash, Crippling Cloud, then Malaise on top. Best defense that I can provide myself. Cloak and Dagger dodge roll, Quick Slash Bane? If I had a footwork, I would be more than happy to take another dodge and roll. But don't. Remove a card from my deck. Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna be really, really, really happy to have this effect in our deck, so. That is to say, to have the red mask, which is going to be 1 weakness to all of our enemies at the start of each combat. The weakness applied to the enemies on this turn is actually going to be extremely powerful. As much as I want the Noxious Fumes out, I know that they're attacking for way more next turn, which they happen to immediately follow up on. Thank you for proving my point. The amount of damage that I take in this combat is probably going to be less than the amount of damage that I am going to take. Hang on. Counting. Is going to be less than the amount of damage that I save from having the red mask. In my opinion. I can't give you immediate statistical proof for that, obviously. Red Mask at the start of each combat, apply 1 weak to all enemies, as well as a speed potion, and Dagger Spray is actually a totally reasonable pickup here. Not only is it going to capitalize on strength twice, and I am going to have some strength in the deck because I have to have a curse. It's also some AoE that is still lacking. I'm not lacking AoE. What I'm lacking is instantaneous AoE. We have set up for AoE. We have set up for AoE out of the wazoo. Remove a card and upgrade a random card. Upgrade 2 random cards might actually be significantly better. I'm going to take adjustments. Neutralize got upgraded. Okay, that's real good. My HP is taking a fair whack here, but looks like we'll be able to recover. And that's backliner dead, and the frontliner is already set up. Got him. Deflect. Extremely deflect. I've been looking for a deflect in this deck already, so... more than happy to take it. 1,000 cuts, speed potion, dodge and roll, deflects. Most of that is actually about setting up the giant amount of block that I can have next turn. And yeah, it's definitely starting to feel like I may have went a little overboard on that. Oopsie. That Metallicize is actually really wild. There's the resummon. We now have basically all of the AoE that this deck will ever use set up. Which is good. Backliner don't attack this turn. Backliner decided not to attack that turn. Excellent. It's going to be a while before we can just suddenly reach for lethal. Thank you for again not attacking that turn. And now we can start thinking about just instantaneously reaching for lethal. Or not. Okay, so that's 36 damage incoming, and I can block for 10, 12, 22. So I'm dead if I do that. Okay, so 22 damage, 8 damage, so 30. Yeah, we've got it. Thank you, Draw Potion, for saving our life. Molten Egg, whenever you add an attack card to your deck, upgraded, as well as the Emerald Key. Don't want to take any of those. Mango! Oh, I was just thinking, I need to somehow get some health before the next elite, which is another space. And we got the Mango, which is the best way I could have gotten that, outside of Lee's Waffle, but that's a shop-specific relic. So upon pickup, raise your max HP by 14, which also raises my current HP by 14. I fear that I may have wanted to play Double Dodge and Roll that turn instead. Yep. That's the most defensive I could have been that turn, so... I think we'll be in this fight long enough. Obviously, that was misordering. I should have played 1,000 Cuts first. Anytime they do a big hit, that's going to be the issue that we run into. And so it is. That said, we have Exacxies on that block. Plus, this floor is the champ. That's, well, that's going to be a little bit of a problem. Happy Flower, every 3 turns gain an energy, as well as a second copy of Dash. Yeah, more than happy to take that. Basically, as a defensive option at this rate. I want the 2 rests of the left-hand side so that I have the opportunity to regain some HP. Speaking of regain some HP, God, I would love the Regal Pillow right now. Like, I would actually really, really love to put the Regal Pillow in this deck. Unfortunately, I still need it. Damn it. Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Nilry's Codex. At the end of your turn, you may shuffle 1 of 3 random cards into your draw pile. Obviously not the thing I was looking for. I was looking for Necronomicon there, as I spoke about earlier. Corpse Explosion. Yes, because Corpse Explosion can actually be landed on the Sentry for a significant amount of damage on the backline here. That's some damage to cop right there, backline. Smoke Bomb. Escape from a non-boss combat and receive no rewards. Take an Endless Agony. That's pre-upgraded. It's not that much that I'm desperate to upgrade right now. I'm going to recall, and then probably directly before the boss fight. Can I put another curse in the deck at this point? Clumsy, ethereal, unplayable, perfect. That's the kind of curse I want. Instead of Preserved Insect, obviously we're taking Sapphire Key here. Because I have to open another curse. I had to open another chest and get another curse because I needed the Sapphire Key anyway. So at this point, I have to rest. I don't really have a choice. That was my intention as well, that I would use this space for the Ruby Key. This would be a fight in my mind. Although I know it can't be. Never mind, that's bad. It can't be as a result of the Juzu Bracelet. It could have been some sort of HP loss, and then I would have been able to recover from that in the next space. This is pretty much the opening turn we're looking for. The problem is, if I use the Malaise right now, I know that the champ is going to purge later. Actually, whoa, there we go. Yes, thank you. Nilari's Codex, you can give me the stuff that I have been desperately lacking in this deck. Infinite Blades is actually not bad. But I don't want to have to find the time to play it, frankly. There goes Clumsy. Hello, Adrenaline. Shame is a problem. Shame is definitely a problem. We need to find a way to get that out of the deck. Piercing Whale here is a defensive card. It's going to be particularly good on the execute turn. Still frail. Oh. Best block I could get. Those dodge and rolls are going to help make my block more consistent. After Image, hell yes. I play about 5 cards a turn. 5 block a turn is pretty good. Thing is, I actually don't want to wake the champ up, but I also don't want my hand to be all Endless Agonies after the champ has woken up, so... As much as I want the Caltrops there, I'm going to take the Well-Laid Plants. Yeah, you're not even purging this turn, unfortunately. No. I want the Well-Laid Plants so that I can hold something like a weakness card for the right turn. Speaking of holding a weakness card for the right turn, my enemy is about to purge their debuffs. So I'm intentionally going to be holding on to this Neutralize so that I can weaken them next turn. I kind of want to just drop the Malaise. It'd be 5, right? Enemy was doing 28, so 5 reduction of strength takes him down to 23 on top of that weakness. So weakness is a reduction of 25%, which should be... It would round down to 5, so that'd be 5 reduction after that. So 18 by 2 at that rate. I think I have to do that right now, because I think the big Malaise is... Ooh, another dash in the deck, nice. 18. Oh, it ended up being 15. I think the big Malaise is going to save me from future turns that otherwise might be a little bit skew-if. Blur, definitely. Blur and Well-Laid Plans totally already have a space in this deck. That's something I would put in here naturally. Keep the block return, why not? Terror totally makes sense now. We actually deal a surprising amount of direct damage with the dashes especially. No, I actually don't really care about any of those, and I'll put another dash in the deck. Yeah, we've got this one. Bye-bye, baby. We do want some more zero-cost cards in this deck. Not necessarily a Slice, but at this rate, sure, a Slice will do. pre-upgraded Grand Finale, though. Every time I see one like that, I'm like, I gotta find a way to get that one to work. It's not going to. I actually heard recently, rather, I heard a idea about changing Grand Finale. That it can be played with cards still in your draw pile, but for each card in your draw pile, it does 10 less damage. I think that would be closer to usable. Although I'm worried that, you know, then the earlier you pick up a Grand Finale, if you run a thin deck, you just win from then on out. Which, you know, I'm kind of in favor of, frankly. We do need a better way to set up our abilities earlier, because we have 3 powers that work in tandem that we kind of need all going. So for that reason, we're going to take the Adrenaline here. How many cards do I play in a turn? Because I think I play more than the Velvet Choker will allow. Not always. That's not always the case. The extra energy is also going to be particularly powerful for the melees. We don't have much draw in this deck, so we can't play 6 cards or more than 6 cards every turn. It will occasionally choke us. Those turns that it chokes us will include, you know, Adrenaline plus Endless Agony. But outside of that, I think ultimately the power that it provides on other turns is going to be worth it. So I'm going to be taking the Velvet Choker here. We definitely need an early shop here. I'd like to remove the Shame from the deck. Three cards left. 1, 2, 3. Does the trade concentrate? No. Hard pass on those. Thousand Cuts Predator to the front line, dodge and roll. That's some effective removal right there. Or it would have been. I thought it was going to do more damage than that. While we're still in the low Ascensions, I'm not necessarily going to take a ridiculous amount of time with every single turn. But you'll note, as we go up through the Ascensions, and this has been historically true for the channel as well, the amount of time I take to make decisions increases considerably. We'll take a Piercing Wail here. It's going to be particularly good against the multi-attack turns of the Awakened one. No, I can't take any of these. Line does provide some weakness that we still want. The fact that I would have to draw and play it is the primary problem we're butting up against there. I don't really want the extra strength. Strength is still not a thing that is really helpful for us. I'm going to take the Pantograph for the heal at the start of each and every boss combat and remove a Shame. Okay, I get to play 2 more cards, make them worth. So I miss out on what? 4 block next turn? That's a relatively small thing to miss out on. Don't even need to play everything that turn. Got him. Another Essence of Steel. Backstab is quite good, but putting it in my opening hand is... I might want the Noxious Fumes just so that I can grow the damage faster. The thing is, every power that I take past this point, I have to consider it's going to be powering up the Awakened one that I have to fight at the end of this floor. I think another Noxious Fumes is fine. And then after this, I think the only things that I can really justify adding to the deck... I think the only power that I can justify adding to the deck past this point is Footworks. I'm very likely to sustain a pretty ridiculous amount of damage over the course of this combat, which I'm worried about. I am straight up ready to bail. That's what the smoke bomb is for. Thousand Cuts Adrenaline would be the start of anything that works off here. I mean... Well, that's actually turned out quite well. Had the right draw on the right turn, I guess. No damage this turn either. Escape plan is a little bit problematic, but that is for the sake of the Velvet Choker. Had to take a moment to consider, is there any reason to hold any of these? And then I recognized that I don't have well-laid plans in this deck. That was from Milry's Codex. I'm incapable of holding any of these. Why can't I hold all of these? It's because they're not in my deck. That's why. I recognize that I am taking a significant amount of damage just in order to get a relic here, but let's see what relic it is. Shovel. You can now dig loot at rest sites. It's extremely unlikely I end up using that consistently. We'll take a leg sweep. It's a more costly card. Heal to full HP, losing 9. Yeah! I don't like losing max HP, but if I've got her, I've got her. Leg sweep does need to be upgraded. So does Caltrops. Leg sweep first, Caltrops later. Why did I do that to myself? Fossilized Helix is really good. Prevent the first time you would lose HP each combat, especially considering that the heart actually has a effect that triggers on turn 2 to deal 60 damage. This would negate 60 straight damage and give me another turn to set up. It is very, very, very good. However, the fact that it worked out for me doesn't necessarily mean that was the correct thing to do. I shouldn't have opened that chest. I knew that I was going to get a curse, and I knew that I could have gotten normality, and I did. This is still a good result, but that doesn't mean... that doesn't mean it was correct. I literally can't do anything this turn. Like, if I play the dodge and roll, the enemy... I mean, they're already weakened, by the way, so the crippling cloud does nothing. If I play the dodge and roll, they attack me to by 5. They remove 4 block. Then 1 damage goes and removes the buffer. Then I take 10 damage afterwards. If I don't, 5 damage is blocked by the buffer, and I take 10 damage afterwards. It's, you know, same either way. Wraith form, obviously. Yes, there come the burns. That was incorrect. I could have played an extra card that turn if I was cognizant enough to discard the Piercing Wail. Okay. None of those really make sense for the deck. Sweep him. I'm actually going to pop a Burst in the deck, and that's primarily so that I can burst the defensive card should one come up. Burst is not a card that I actually ultimately want in this deck because it will cause a lot of problems with Velvet Choker and Normality as well. After Image, I would obviously just immediately add into the deck. Call it a hunch, but I think After Image would be pretty good. Bag of Marbles at the start of each combat apply 1 vulnerable to all enemies. This would make backstabs a much more consistently powerful thing. Can't take the escape plan as much as I want it. Yeah, I can. I just can't take more draw. I'm considering throwing away the Smoke Bomb to take this weak potion. Oh, but Smoke Bomb is actually going to be the ability to straight up dodge the elite fight before the heart. Never mind. I need to keep it. Thank you for the 222 gold. That was really important because I needed to get to this space and then remove a card, which I am now capable of doing. Yay. Well-laid plans is here as well, though. I need to remove Normality. Clockwork Souvenir. Do we benefit from that at all? Not currently. Well, Normality has to get out of the deck. Well-laid plans, I think, is actually going to be extremely important. Power Potion can be insane. I don't want to do that. These guys scale really quickly. No need to be greedy. That's right, game. Let's keep those two. Piercing Wail is going to be pretty effective at one point here. Just waiting for it. This is the Piercing Wail effective waiting room. There it is. It's the effective Piercing Wail I've been talking about. No one thought it was ever real, but I knew. With 1,000 cuts out, we should now not really have that much of a problem. Nope. Yes, 1,000 cuts and the Velvet Choker are technically anti-synergistic, but if you can get 12 damage AoE every single turn, you'd probably have taken that, wouldn't you? Okay. Okay, we'll have a better opportunity to use this. I mean, it really doesn't matter if the enemy hits me with that. Thank you, Fossilized Helix. Alright, Reptimancer. Warpaint upon pick up upgrade to random skills. Clasp Knife is good early, but this deck is better late. Like, it would be better in hallway fights, but we don't have any more hallway fights. We have literally one Battle Next floor that I intend to skip with the Smoke Bomb. So for that reasoning, I'm not going to be taking it. Nice. Are there any cards remaining in this deck that need to be upgraded? No. There aren't. I'm wondering if that means that I dig. Sure. Snacko Skull! Whenever you apply a poison, apply 1 additional poison. That's going to be an extra point of poison to all enemies every turn. That's really nice. I'm not going to play Caltrop. It's not going to be important against the Awakened one, or rather, it's not going to be important enough to outweigh the fact that it's going to be extraordinarily negative. I could have considered flying knee there, but that's the only one that even got a look in. Blur's going to be pretty good. Ended up taking 6 damage total there. Good counting, Ryan. Take a bullet time because I have well-laid plans, so I have the ability to keep it in my deck if I need it. Thank you, Piercing Whale, for being useful on exactly the turn I was waiting for. I think I'm going to hold this Noxious Fumes for later as well. Deadly Poison. Yeah, we're definitely going to tend this towards Poison to take out the Awakened one. Bane, sure, it's 14 damage. Well, it's not 14 damage. It's 16 because of the Duvu doll. But for 1 energy, that's a pretty good return. Thank you, Malaise. We can play those powers later. We just can't play them now. Oh, that was obviously supposed to be Bane after that. For some reason, I thought I'd already hit the limit of my Velvet Choker. You for letting me keep those. Poison's building up pretty wildly here. It's always nice to have something like a doppelganger when you have a Velvet Choker. Or pretty much any X-Cost card will actually suffice. Because the idea is you can just invest the remainder of whatever energy you have left over into it. We'll put a Wraith Form in there. I wanted to get my powers out instantaneously, but this is in general going to be a good idea. Cool. Sets up for a lot of block that turn. And, of course, for starting to stack weakness on the enemy. 21 incoming damage. The fact that I can hold Wraith Form until the turn that I decide to play it basically means that it is just a bunch of apparitions stuck together. In fact, I believe it's time to play. Haha! Oh, especially if you get another one. Oh, the big old 1 damage. I'll put Nightmare in there because it'll give me the ability in future to, you know, duplicate some Wraith forms. That said, I find it pretty unlikely we're going to get that far. The dodge and rolls now do nothing. Oh yeah, we're starting to get towards problem territory. Mm-hmm. And yeah, now we're pretty much safe. Awesome. Doesn't matter we put in the deck there or not. Enemy is now dead. Awesome. Then we will proceed to the heart. 1039 in terms of score. That's actually surprisingly high. For this deck in particular, I believe. 7 HP or a random relic. I think I take the random relic. Toxic Egg. Whenever you have a skilled card to your deck, upgrade it. Well, we have all of the eggs now, which is nice. A single copy of Catalyst is pretty great in terms of reaching for lethal. Caltrops obviously is there. Yes, I hear you. Again. Has to be those two. I'm wondering whether or not I drop an Essence of Steel to pick up a Dex Potion as well. There's also a Liquid Bronze, which is another Caltrops. I think it's going to be my block that's missing. That's a way to generate it. Fine. Not interested. Escape from a non-boss combat. I held it for that. I'm mad. I'm mad. I played around that, and then the game was like, no. Okay, most impactful defense I can play. There you go. Keeping the Endless Agony gives me the ability to pivot and face the other direction, which is going to be pretty important. Right about now. Funk Soul Brother, check it out now. So I will be taking some damage this turn, but I've effectively consigned the Spire Shield to only one more turn on the field. Okay. I'm condemning you to one turn. Like, sweep him. Obviously, all that was done in the wrong order, but it doesn't matter at this point anymore. It's not going to make any difference. It functionally is not capable of doing so. I hate that. Smoke Bomb. This is considered an elite fight as far as the game is concerned. Smoke Bomb should work. I need as many powers as I possibly can play this turn. I have well-laid plans, so I can actually hold stuff for next turn. That's good. Another Caltrops is going to be pretty good. We'll take a Deflect and a Survivor. Hold them. Survivor's going to be really good for discarding the worst ones there. I think I can actually just straight up malaise you. Now, you will gain your strength back later, but later is not now. Uh-huh. That's some damage. Now, unfortunately, does the Beat of Death trigger before or after? Because if it triggers before, then there was no way I could have saved the Fossilized Helix. If it triggers after, then the fact that I didn't play a defensive card as the first card I played is a problem and cost me a lot of HP, ultimately, in this fight. I'm gonna have to cop some damage this turn because I really want to play all of those out. Good work, thank you. Okay, it's 1,000 defend, neutralize Piercing Whale, prevents all incoming damage. That's another reason that Piercing Whale is a much better card right now. Enemy takes 11 damage every single time they hit me here, which is, you know, just nice. Frankly, you don't need to wait for the world's largest turn to use a catalyst and have it be extremely effective. So, using mine really early there. It doesn't have to be a finisher. Not necessarily, at least. Good. Haha, malaise, sure, just in case the next is a multi-hit. While it is a multi-hit, I feel like we've probably got this one in the bag. Goodbye, Corrupt Heart. Hello, Heartbreaker victory on the Silence Ascension 5. No save scumming involved at all. Hell yeah. Yes, yes. Find your way out. Beautiful. The law. Victory achieved. All beta card art is unlocked. I've already done that. I don't know why it's redoing that, but for the moment, my name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Slay the Spire. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you next time.